Hi there again, BookTube, Leanne here, and welcome back to another video. So, you would expect me to be hauling books all the time because I need to fill in the spaces that you can't see the spaces on my shelves, but there are. However, I've selected some to get rid of. Keeps going. Oh, this is heavy. Yeah, I'm getting rid of these. So I wanted to show you guys the books, mostly what I've had in my collection for a good long time, that I'm just never ever going to get to. So I wanted to show you what I'm getting rid of. So the first book I'm getting rid of, or the first series I guess, I don't know why I bought an entire series without knowing anything about it, but that is The Left Hand of God by Paul Hoffman. And it just does not sound interesting to me anymore. I've heard other people say, well, like, I've hardly heard anything on BookTube about it at all, but the people I've seen talk about it mostly didn't like it that much, so that kind of puts me off, and I've just never got to it, so I don't think I will. There's always going to be books that are more important, so there's no point me having these anymore. So I had The Left Hand of God, as I've just shown you. The Beating of His Wings, and The Last Four Things. They were all what I had by Paul Hoffman. The next one I'm getting rid of is one that you probably all know that I'm getting rid of due to one of my previous videos. Is The Goblin Emperor. I DNF this halfway through. Like, I hard DNF this. It just wasn't good for me. Too political. Not much was really happening. I asked somebody who's read the entire thing what if anything interesting actually comes around, and apparently nothing happens till right towards the end, so I'm just really not interested in this. So it's a gorgeous, beautiful cover, and I think it looks absolutely amazing, but I'm not keeping it just for that cover, especially when it reminds me that there's hardly any content that I enjoyed in it. So yeah, getting rid of this by Catherine Addison. The next book I'm unhauling was a gift, but it's not my cup of tea. This isn't the kind of thing that I normally read. The Husband's Secret by Leon Moriarty. It's not my genre. It's not something that just interests me at all. So I'm sorry if you're watching this, but I just can't bring myself to read it. I've had it for a while now, and it's just been sat there. Somebody else could love it. The next book I'm getting rid of is Dry by Neil Shusterman. Now, I love the Scythe series. It's behind me over there, as you can see. I absolutely love Scythe. But I read this all the way through, and I just, it wasn't drawing me. I didn't care about the characters. Some good things happened in it, but it just wasn't for me. Scythe was a million times better. I know that being a standalone as well, I'm never going to read this again if I didn't enjoy it, so pass it on to somebody who might enjoy it more than me. It's about water disappearing in the world and how people would react to that. So yeah, it sounded good. Like, I thought it was going to be like Scythe in certain ways, but it doesn't nowhere near reached what Scythe was, so getting rid of this. The next book I'm getting rid of is a book called Sleep by C.L. Taylor. This was recommended to me by a friend. I don't normally read mystery, thriller novels, and it was good, like the twist in it was good and all that kind of stuff, but it just isn't my cup of tea. And this kind of book, you're not going to read it again because you know what happens. Me personally anyway, I'm not going to reread anything like this. So I thought I'd give a different genre a go. I did, and now it's going away. Like I say, it was good. I'm sure people who love this genre would love it, so pass it on to somebody else to be surprised by. The next book I'm getting rid of is Seeker by Arwen Alice Dayton. I've heard good things about this, and I know people enjoyed it, but another one that's been on my TBR since pretty much the beginning, and I've never picked it up, so I probably never will. And so I'm saying goodbye to it, and somebody else might love it. Yeah, it's a fantasy book and all that, so I should want to read it, but it just isn't interesting me. It's not drawing my attention at all, so making room for books that will. The next book, another thing I haven't read, is The Lie Tree by Frances Hardinge. Again, people have really liked this. It was a a Costa bestseller or something like that, I'm pretty sure. I did have 2 copies of these because I was part of a book trade and 2 people sent me this book. So I got rid of the old one ages ago, thinking, oh, this one's a prettier cover, I'll read this one. And then I never read it, so again, pass it on to somebody who will. But yeah, doesn't draw my attention at all, so goodbye to this. And finally, we come to the hardbacks that I'm getting rid of, and they are books that I have read, and that is Snow Like Ashes and Ice Like Fire. They were fine. They were probably something I would have really, really enjoyed when I first bought them, so I should have read them back then. But I'm not interested to continue on to the third one. Again, really nice world, good little fantasy book. Something I actually kind of wanted to write when I was a teenager. Like this whole elemental thing was something I was really into back then, but not so much anymore. I'm not going to continue, so somebody else can love these who will love them a lot more than me. So yeah, I'll pass these on. And that is everything that I'm getting rid of. I don't want to get rid of too much because the things that are still on my TBR shelf from years ago, I still want to get to. It's just that I keep seeing something shiny and going to the new shiny thing. And I need to read what's on my TBR. I desperately need to. So that's why I will tell you now actually. Yeah, I'll tell you about it now. My TBR game, if you're all familiar, is themed around knitting and crocheting and reading, obviously. And so I thought, when I land on the little bee that's on my TBR game board, the little bee sends me back to the last bee. So I thought instead of nothing happening but that, I would put all of my books that are in my physical TBR and my Kindle TBR in here, in little pieces of paper. And if I land on a bee on my TBR game, I'll have to read one of these. It will force me to read what's on my TBR instead of just clicking on script again and reading the shiny new book, or going on Audible or Kindle, or buying a new book that I want to read, because that's what I keep doing. So this will hopefully force me to read my actual TBR, like stuff that I've been needing to read for years. So I thought I'd show you that. But yeah, that is my unhaul, and that is my teapot. And I will see you guys in my next video. Let me know if any of these books that I'm unhauling, like, you actually enjoyed, down in the comments. Tell me if you've read any of them, if you didn't like them or did like them, all that good stuff. And I will see you guys in my next video. TTFN. Bye bye.